So, good morning everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about force systems. So, I got in Polytechnic department. So, force systems is first chapter of strength of materials. Actually, in engineering mechanics, we will have all these forces, types of forces, centroid, moment of inertia, and all those. Actually, it was like that only in Polytechnic also. Till C14 semester, C16 semester, engineering mechanics was a separate chapter for the students in their first year. It was 105 subject code in 105, and later on in C18, when it came to semester system, even in the first year, uh, what they have done is they have clubbed both the subjects such as engineering mechanics and strength of materials into one, and its subject code is now 18M302C. The subject code is 18M302C, and this subject will comprise of six chapters. The first chapter is force systems. Already we people know that force systems means, so it will be defining about force, types of forces, resolution of forces, resultant of coplanar forces, parallelogram law, triangular law, polygon law, free body diagram, Lang's theorem, equilibrium, conditions for equilibrium, equilibrium of forces. So these are which we'll come across in our applied physics also. And the second chapter comprises of simple stresses and strains. So this is the first chapter in exclusive strength of materials. So exclusively strength of materials was a subject with subject code 305 till C16 curriculum. Now the strength of materials and engineering mechanics both have been clubbed into single subject, and that will be present in your third semester for mechanical engineering stream. And now uh, uh, the second chapter is simple stresses and strains, and the third chapter would be geometric properties of section. So as we know, geometric properties of section includes centroid, moment of inertia, and moment of inertia for various regular and irregular geometries and all. And the fourth chapter would be shear force and bending moment. So in that we'll have both the formula derivation as well as the application of formula into various types of various problems. And the fifth chapter would be simple bending. So as you know, bending moment and these assumptions in the bending moment and the applications of bending moment and all various for different types of beams and different types of loads, all the various problems will be present in the simple bending. And the last chapter will be torsion in shafts, and for that we'll have based on the torsion equation we'll have various types of problems. So most ofly the uh, rather than comparatively the previous curriculums, in this curriculum they have effectively concentrated on the application of the application of the formulae and all the theory in the problems. Previously they have equally included for equally gave importance for both the derivation part as well as the problematic problem solving part. But in this curriculum, what they have done is they gave more importance to the problem solving techniques. So let us start the first chapter, that is force systems. So in my previous session I have explained about simple stresses because due to unavailability of the curriculum and etc. And moreover I forgot that C18 scheme included both the chapters, both the subjects. I was running with the C16 curriculum. So let us discuss something about force system. And on discussing this force system, the main objectives of today's session is uh, to make you people familiar with the some simple terms such as force, and what are the units of force, and what are the types of forces. It is classifications of the force systems. Okay. uh, so force, as everyone know, force is something that it might be some load applied or weight applied or pushing or pulling. So that is the general term that strikes in one's mind when they listen to the word force. So everyone is forced to do certain things. So force is a pull or push. Force is capacity to do work or cause physical change. So mathematically we know that force F is equal to m into E, where m is mass into acceleration, and force is that which changes or tends to change the state of rest or motion of a body. So generally we can explain as force is that agent which changes or which tries to change the the direction of a body which is in a state of equilibrium or which is in a state of rest or which is in a state of movement. So force is nothing but a force is a applied agent which changes the direction of a body. So the body might be in a stable condition or it might be in a unstable condition. Next. So as you know, force is applied. So when we are applied, we'll see we will apply with certain quantity. It can be some 10 newtons or 20 newtons, etc. And we'll also apply in certain direction. So it means that the force is having certain magnitude or quantity, and also it is having certain direction. It is in a specified direction. So this force comes under a vector quantity. So vector is nothing but the physical quantity which has both magnitude and the direction. And the units of force are newtons. So since this was derived by Isaac Newton, so it was named as Newton. As you know, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass is in kg and acceleration is meter per second square. So kg meter per second square is equal to 1 Newton. So newtons are the SI units of force. Next, so a force, the characteristics of a force are. So how can you define a force or how can you explain certain force? So this can be explained or this can be characterized by four criteria. First one is magnitude, next line of action, next direction, next point of application. So in the next slide we are having a small example of this characteristics of force. So this, so first what we have discussed, magnitude. Magnitude is nothing but the quantity or the quantity of the force that is applied. So in this you can see that a force is applied, how much quantity it is of 4 kilonewtons. So you are defining or you are characterizing the force by certain quantity, that is 4 kilonewtons. And again, see line of action. So in which line it is acting. It is acting from where side to which side. See here. So the line of action is from A to C. So it is acting towards certain uh, angle from the horizontal. So the line of action is about 40 degrees from the center or from the point A to B with the horizontal. It is acting at an angle of 40 degrees below the horizontal. Next, direction. So that's what direction is mentioned in terms of uh, angle itself. So the magnitude is defined by the magnitude is defined by the numbering, that is 4 kilonewtons or something, and the weightage which we are using, and the direction is denoted by the angle. So the angle is mentioned in this by the angle itself defines the direction of the force. So that the force is at an angle of 40 degrees from the horizontal. It means it is moving in certain direction. So that is explained by means of this certain angle included. Next, point of application. So where it is applied? It is applied from a point A to the B. So this comes under, so if you take according to your geometry, so if you are dividing into 4 quadrant, so first quadrant, second quadrant, third and fourth quadrant, so this comes in the fourth quadrant. So in the fourth quadrant, as you know, all silver teacups. So in this you'll have cos positive and the remaining all will be negative. So again this all silver teacups will be coming in the resolution of forces. So now you can see that it is at the fourth quadrant region. So in the fourth quadrant region it is there. So now you can define that. So a force of 4 kilonewtons which is acting at an angle of 40 degrees below the horizontal, and it is facing from the center A and moving towards the point B, and it is present in the quadrant 4. So you are defining this force in this much brief manner. So which is giving us the magnitude 4 kilonewtons, which is telling us the direction that it is at an angle of 40 degrees with the horizontal from, and it is giving that line of action is from center towards the line B, A to B, and we are also defining that it is on a quadrant 4. Next, so nature of force. Nature of force is significantly of two. One is push or pull. So if you are applying force on certain object and you are making that object to move towards the point of application of force, it is nothing but pull. So if you are making a body to move away from the point of application of force, it is called as push. So again repeating, if you are making certain body to move towards the point of application of force, it is pull, and if you are making the body to move away from the point of application, it is push. So pull and push, both are the natures of a force. Next. So I think everyone clear. So force is nothing but an agent which tends to change the direction and position of a body. So which is in an equilibrium or state of equilibrium, or sometimes also whenever it is in a rest. And the magnitude, the nature of the force is of two types, that is uh, push and pull. And again force is characterized by four terms, that is point of application, magnitude, direction, and point of application, magnitude, direction, and line of action. Okay. Next, so let us discuss something about force systems. So a system of forces. System of forces is nothing but, so if we are considering more than one, the number of forces which are acting on a certain plane is nothing but system of forces. The number of forces which are acting on a plane or in a line or on a point. So if you are studying something about the number of forces, that number of forces is nothing but force system. A force system consists of more than one force. So this force system is categorized into two types. So first is planar and coplanar and non-coplanar. Again, further coplanar are again subdivided into collinear, parallel, uh, concurrent, non-concurrent. Then non-coplanar are further categorized to parallel, concurrent, and non-concurrent. So, if you consider first, so let us discuss something about the basic level. So, as everyone know, if you are taking two point entities and joining them, so that will create a line. So if you are taking two line entities and joining them, that will create a plane. So if you are taking more than two planes, then that will give us a solid. So let us discuss something about these force systems. First, let us know. So everyone is familiar with geometry in 10th standard and all. So you will come across all these terms over there first initial itself. So coplanar means if the objects are present on the same plane, then it is called as coplanar. Non-coplanar means the objects are not present in the same plane, they are called as non-coplanar. The objects would be lines, right? So collinear means if they are acting on the same line, then it is called as collinear. Parallel means if two lines are taken and if they are equidistant at every consecutive point with each other, then it is parallel. Concurrent means if they are passing through the same point, it is called as concurrent. Non-concurrent means if the forces are not passing through the same point, then they are called as non-concurrent. They are not parallel to each other and they are not uh, passing through the same line. They are called as non-concurrent. So non-coplanar means the forces are not acting in the same plane. Parallel, as you know, they are equidistant. So let us discuss now coplanar collinear forces, coplanar parallel forces. Next, coplanar concurrent forces, and again coplanar non-concurrent forces. The next comes non-coplanar parallel forces, non-coplanar concurrent forces, non-coplanar non-concurrent forces. So let us have a brief explanation of all this. So I have already told you that if all forces lie in a single plane, through a single point, they are called as coplanar concurrent system of forces. So first let us see. So coplanar system of forces. This is an example. I am giving the geometries of all those and as well as the definitions. So coplanar system of forces means, so if the line of action of set of forces lie in a single plane is called as coplanar system of forces. Means, so if all the forces are acting in a same plane, then they are called as coplanar system of forces. The line of action of all the forces lying in the same plane is called as coplanar system of forces. Next, non-coplanar system of forces. So when the line of action of all the forces do not lie in the same plane, then it is called as non-coplanar forces. Isn't it? So if they act, they'll act in this. If they may not act all in the same horizontal plane. They may act in a vertical plane or anywhere. They are not on the same plane. So you can see here. So y is acting towards some plane, q is acting towards some plane, and s is acting in some other plane. So priorly it was like, so all forces are acting along the y plane and those are all intersecting the x plane at a same angle. So here you can see these are in a zigzag manner. They are all in different planes. Next, coplanar collinear system of forces means, see, already the forces are in a coplanar manner and also they have to act on a same line. So in this we have to include that when the line of action of forces act on the same line, then they are called as collinear system of forces, and also they have to act along the same plane, then it is called as coplanar collinear system of forces. So here the forces should be along the same line and they must be along the same plane. So here you can see that there are three forces, P1, P2 and P3. So all the three forces are acting along the horizontal x-axis. Okay? So their direction may be opposite, I mean they might be like or the unlike. So they are away. Two forces P1, P2 are acting towards the left side, and P3 is acting towards the right side. So the direction is not at all an important thing. So it may be opposite to each other, but all the forces are acting along the same x-axis line, and they are along the same plane, horizontal plane. So this is coplanar collinear forces. Next, coplanar parallel forces. So in parallel forces, we have basically two types. One is like parallel and the other one is unlike parallel. So like parallel forces means already we know parallel is nothing but all the points are all the consecutive points of two lines are equidistant. Means if you see any two opposite points, they will be at a equidistant on both the lines. So if they are acting towards the same direction, they are called as like parallel forces. If they are acting in the opposite direction, they are called as unlike parallel forces. Now, coplanar parallel system. It means, so you can take unlike or like, both are parallel. So if you want to further differentiate, we have to take like parallel if they are having same direction. If they are having opposite direction, unlike parallel. So let us discuss here. So coplanar parallel system of forces means, so already there coplanar came, means the forces are in the same plane, and parallel means these forces are equidistant at every point. So coplanar parallel system is nothing but the line of action of the forces are acting along the same plane and they are equidistant at every point, then those forces are said to be coplanar parallel forces. Next, coplanar concurrent system. So as again, coplanar means the forces are along the same plane. Concurrent means all the forces should pass through a same point. They all should pass through a common point. So the forces which meet at one point and the lines of action also lie on the same plane are called as coplanar concurrent forces. So you can see F1, F2 and F3 are in the same plane and they are passing through a center O. So those three are intersecting at a common point. They are at a common point O. So these three lines are concurrent as well as those are at the same plane. Next, coplanar non-concurrent systems. So these here, coplanar means we know already. So it has been discussed now itself from the past 2-3 slides. Coplanar is acting along the same plane. So concurrent means they have to pass along the same point. But here now we came across the term non-concurrent. It means the forces do not meet at any common point, but they'll stay in a same plane. So here we have a small example of F1, F2 and F3. So those three are forces. So you can see that F2 is a force which is vertical, which is perpendicular to the horizontal. And F1 is at an angle theta and F3 is at an angle alpha. So those three cannot meet uh, at a common point. But however, those three are on the vertical plane. Right? So those are all on the same plane, but they cannot meet at a common point. So this is coplanar non-concurrent system of forces. Okay? So if you come across this kind of forces, we'll take the reactions at the end and we'll just consider a section, and we'll equate the moments on the left hand side is equal to on the right hand side, and finally we'll find the reactions. So in this way we'll calculate the resultants for coplanar non-concurrent systems. Next comes non-coplanar system of forces, or non-coplanar parallel system. Non-coplanar means the forces will not act in the same plane. So you can see, so in order to better understand the planes, so here we have drawn a cube. So on the cube you can see both x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So let the horizontal one might be x, and let the vertical one might be y, and let the faces be z planes. Now if you view all those, the forces are parallel to each other, but they don't act in the same plane. So that is what the forces which do not lie in the same plane but are equidistant from each other, they are called as non-coplanar parallel system of forces. Next, so non-coplanar concurrent system of forces. So in this system of forces, the forces lie in the different planes but pass through the same point, single point. So I mentioned an example also. The example of a transformer or a electric pole which we'll see at our streets. So you will have the electrical pole, but you'll have many high tension wires pulling off from every home. So those high tension wires from every home will not have the same angle. Say the house which is very near to the electrical pole will have an obtuse angle, or it will have a more angle which is above the 45 degrees, whereas uh, uh, whereas the houses which are not obtuse angle, it will have more than 45 degrees, and the houses which will be far, they'll have more acute angle like 30 degrees, 10 degrees, like that. So that is what. So all the tension wires will not make the same angle, and they don't pass through the same plane, but they all meet at a common point, that is uh, electrical pole, high end, top end of an electrical pole. So this is an example of non-coplanar concurrent system, where it means that the system of forces do not lie on the same plane, but they all meet at a common point. Is called as non-coplanar concurrent system of forces. Next, non-coplanar non-concurrent system of forces. So here they neither the forces neither stay in a plane, same plane, they nor meet at a common point. So you can view the example here. The forces F1, F2 and F3 are there. So these three are in a different planes. So one is in the horizontal, one is in the vertical, and one is towards the facing. And all the three are acting away from each other. And all the three are in a all are in different directions, and they do not meet. They do not have any common point to meet each other. So the forces which are not lying in the same plane, as well as which are not coinciding, which are not intersecting, or which are not meeting at a common point, are non-coplanar non-concurrent system of forces. So that's what today's topic is. So we have discussed various terms in today's topic, such as force. So force is that agent which tends or which tries to tends change the direction and the magnitude of the direction of the object which is in a movement, or which is in a state of equilibrium, or which is at a rest, and the force is measured in terms of newtons. And the mathematical expression of force is mass into acceleration in the force types of force systems. So in the types of force systems we have various types we come across. So basically we divide based on the plane. If they are acting on the same plane, they are coplanar. If they are acting on different plane, they are called as non-coplanar. So again in the coplanar forces we have concurrent forces, collinear forces, parallel forces, non-concurrent forces. So concurrent, coplanar concurrent means they act in the same plane and they intersect at a common point. That is coplanar concurrent. Again, coplanar collinear means they act in the same plane and they pass through the same line. They are called as coplanar collinear forces. Again, coplanar parallel means they act in the same plane and also they are equidistant. Both the forces are equidistant at every point. They don't intersect each other on extending. Okay. Coplanar non-concurrent means coplanar force, the forces which act in the same plane and they do not meet at a common point is called as coplanar non-concurrent forces. Again, when it comes to the non uh, non-coplanar forces, so non-coplanar forces means the forces which do not act on the same plane. They act in the different planes. They might be in X plane and one force might be acting on the Y plane. So in non-coplanar forces we have non-coplanar parallel forces. It means non-coplanar parallel forces means the forces are parallel to each other but they are acting on different planes. Okay. Non-coplanar concurrent forces means the forces are not acting in the not in the same plane but they are in a passing through the same point. Again, non-coplanar non-concurrent means the forces they do not lie on the same plane but they meet at a common point. So this is all for today. So just go through this. So this is as simple as it is. So simply the basic geometry terms would be there in this. So the plane, the lines and the points and the forces. So, so any further clarifications they can be dropped in my chat box and I will explain. So this is the session for today and forgot to say that so for the in Telangana for the diploma in mechanical engineering, so this chapter includes in its first mid. So there will be two questions coming, and one question one question coming for the from the second section and one essay, large essay question will be coming. It means this weightage would be almost of 10 marks nearly. I mean, half of the syllabus would be covering for the first month. And when it comes to the final exam, so the first question will be coming from this, and the ninth question A question will be coming, and the 13th B question will be coming. So this is of so since this is the basic one, if you learn the basics, this would be more easier for further coming typical classes. So in order to resolve the forces, so this basic information is more required. So learning the basics would help, would favor more and more to understand the complicated things easier in a better fashion. So that's all for today, and tomorrow I will come with the further continuation of this classes.